We're live, boys.
Alright, so yes, quick overview. Football, upset alert, and fantasy, followed by Super Bowl predictions, break, you got you, we argue, mention on the call to get
Oh, baby. There you go.
How many broker picks is such a hostage? You hate to see it.
Jackson just said, oh, gee, it's live.
We only got 10 views.
Hi, welcome to the first airing of the DZB Sports Podcast. To my right is the D, to my left is the B, and I'm the Z, and we're just three P's on the pod.
Alright guys, to begin with today's podcast, we're going to go over some college football, the college football playoff, who we think is some marquee matchups and some pick 'em, and then who we think is our upset alert. After that, we'll be going to some fantasy insight with the NFL. We can take call-ins for the next segment, and we'll give you guys some advice. After that, we're going to do some mid-season awards and our Super Bowl predictions.
After the break, I'll come on for a quick MLB section. The MLB and Cy Young Award trophies will be announced later this week, and I'm going to tell you who I think is deserving of those trophies. Then we'll be joined by our special guest to talk about some Hoover football. We're really proud of what the guys accomplished this year, and we're glad to have him on the show. He'll stick around and discuss some college basketball with Drake after that.
Alright, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to our guy Nick DiMattise. You know, he's been the producer for us, big part of this production. We wouldn't be here without him, so let's just give him a quick hand. We appreciate you, Demo. And let's get this show on the road, guys. So to start out today, let's go with the college football playoff, who we believe is going to be getting into the playoff. I'll begin here. I got my 4 teams as Bama. I mean, that's number 1. You can't argue that. They've done nothing wrong, everything good. After that, I have Michigan, which could cause some controversy. Oklahoma, rounded out by Washington State.
I also have Bama, again, no argument there. I have Notre Dame at my 2 spot, and I got my Buckeyes at the 3, Washington State at the 4.
We all agree straight across the board, Bama at number 1. I actually have Clemson at number 2. These two guys have Clemson falling out of the playoff picture. Number 3, I have Michigan, and 4, Washington State.
Love the Washington State pick, fellas. So let's just start out again. Bama, you know, nothing you can say against Bama.
Yeah, nothing bad.
In my opinion, here it's a race for second place.
Race for second.
Next, I have Michigan. So I mean, we all have different number 2 teams. I think you
I have
have
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yeah.
I got Clemson.
So obviously, you know, me having Michigan. And whoever wins out in the Big Ten between Ohio State and Michigan is getting in. I believe it's going to be Michigan.
I think Ohio State will return to the dominant team they're proposed to be. I think their defense will bounce back. They're still nurturing that loss of, I think, the best player in college football and the projected first-round pick of next year, Nick Bosa. And I just think they'll get back to it. Urban Meyer will get them back to being how dominant they can be in the past.
Yeah, I have Clemson at number 2. The ACC's a little weak this year, so I believe that they have an easy path to the Final Four, and I think they'll win the ACC tournament and make their way in there give Alabama a tough run in the national
Yeah,
championship.
we could see that.
My number 2 is Notre Dame. Ian Book is out. Brandon Wimbush is in. Some people might not know that Wimbush was actually the starter last year. Threw for over 1,800 yards and 16 touchdowns. And people might not know he had over 803 rushing yards, 5.7 to carry, and 14 touchdowns. So I think he'll open up a dominant run game. And when the dominant run games open up play action passes. And I don't think that Notre Dame offense will take much of a step back.
We're going to check back.
Yeah, we'll check back into that game. I have them on my
Could see a little more there, yeah. So my third team is Oklahoma. None of you guys had them in, so I just think, the dominance of Kyler Murray, in my opinion, probably the Heisman this year. I'd give him the Heisman. Just a dominant
Definitely
player.
an electrifying player.
They got Hollywood Brown on the outside, just a big player. I just think that their offense is too much for anybody in that conference. They just win out and get into the playoff.
Yeah, I got Michigan at 3. I saw you had them at 2.
I have them too, yeah.
I also believe they win out in the Big Ten. They have an easy schedule until they get to Ohio State and then the conference championship game, of course. But I think their defense locks down Ohio State's, and Ohio State's struggling defense allows Michigan to put up quite a few points. And they win easily in the Big Ten tournament with, it looks like, Northwestern right now. Not that tough
Can't
for an
argue that
opponent.
one, yeah.
They sneak in there at 3.
Ohio State at my 3. They had a tough loss to Purdue, embarrassing loss against Purdue. But I think they get the win in East Lansing today and beat the Wolverines at home.
See, my question to that is, you have Ohio State in there to beat Michigan.
Yeah.
But you only put up 20 points against Purdue with your quarterback tossing it 73 times. What do you expect to do against a team like Michigan with arguably the best defense in college football?
Those
What do you
DBs.
expect? I mean,
Michigan
they're
has,
unreal.
over the past years, Michigan has become a little bit of DBU with Jordan Harris, Jabril Peppers both coming out. They have lockdown corners this year.
And
With
those
Haskins at the helm.
edge guys, those edges are crazy.
I definitely have to say this is probably the best Michigan defense Urban Meyer has faced thus far.
For sure.
Very dominant. But I also think that the rivalry game factor again. It's in the shoe. I just think that atmosphere will get them the win.
And you can go with that, but I just think Michigan's defense, then the X factor of that game is Shea Patterson. I mean, the guy's been up and down this year, but
Another electrifying play.
against that weak Ohio State defense, without Nick Bosa, I mean, not much of a rush. You gotta love that matchup there. So I just think Shea Patterson gets the job done.
Definitely without that edge pressure, it creates a lot of a liability on the corners, but I just think they'll get it done under a great coach.
We would definitely be an exciting game there. Can't wait to watch that one. So next we all have Washington State at 4. People haven't really talked about them this year, but Mike Leach has got them going.
Fantastic coach. Yep, he's definitely turned that program around. I believe they went out in the Pac-12. They've played a tough schedule so far, comparable to that of Notre Dame's. And with me having Notre Dame on the upset alert this week, I believe that opens up a spot because I believe Oklahoma will lose in the Big 12 championship game. And this week I also have them on a little upset alert in our marquee matchups. And so that just opens up a spot with Georgia probably losing to Bama in the SEC championship game. That gives them 2 losses. LSU already has 2 losses. So that just opens up a wide space in there for Washington State to just jump up if they can win out.
I agree. Yeah, I just see that. I mean, Washington State's got 1 loss at USC, who at the time was ranked. I mean, a 3-point loss at USC. They got a big win against Oregon.
That was a huge win.
12th ranked at the time. I think they won by about 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And after that, they had another big win there. They got Washington at the end of the year. So I think it's just big that, they got a kind of a tough schedule. They played 3 or 4 ranked teams. And that's just what you got to go with. That's why I got Washington State in there.
I think if they get it done against Washington, I think that's clear cut. They need to do.
Yep.
Your committee very much values conference champions.
They love conference championships.
Notre Dame taking this 1 loss to, I think, Boston College this week. That ties them up at 1 loss, and I think the committee puts a conference championship
they have shown
ahead of independent ball club.
Yeah, you really see independents get in. They value conference championships, so we would definitely see if that pans out the way we want. So now we're going to toss it over to our marquee matchups this week. First one will be the first game of the day, which, Z, we've already talked about this one. Big Ohio State in East Lansing against Michigan State today. What do you guys got?
I think Ohio State goes down to East Lansing and their defense bounces back and just dominate 1-14. I thought it was great.
Yeah, hate to pick it, but I got OSU this week as well. Michigan State's just having some trouble. Their quarterback's banged up. Running back situation's iffy. Defense is playing all right. I think Ohio State bounces back in a big way. Their defense gets it back under control, and Haskins and Dobbins play well.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Brody. I just love to pick against Ohio State. I couldn't find a compelling argument. So I have a tight one here, though. I have Ohio State 31, Michigan State 27 in this game today. After that, I mean, it's a kind of a big game, but we all know what's going to happen. Bama is at home against Mississippi State. It's a 1 versus 16. I had Bama out there in a tight one, 56-10 today, folks.
Yeah, you got to put this one in just because ranked opponent.
Yeah.
But
Bama's on
after what they did to LSU last week, shutting them out at home, I just believe Mississippi State doesn't stand a chance, and this one gets over quickly. Tua doesn't take a snap in the fourth quarter of this one.
Yeah.
See a lot of hurts.
Oh, yeah.
I got Bama 63, Mississippi State's 3.
Yeah, it's just, you can't argue that either. After that, we have the big rivalry game today of Oklahoma State at Oklahoma. Always a great game, always high scoring because it's the Big 12. I actually have Oklahoma State going into Oklahoma, losing by 10 in a close game, 59-49. Oklahoma gets the win.
I got Oklahoma State getting the win because I think that rivalry game factor, I don't care who's playing who, it's always going to be a good game. I got Oklahoma State 31 to Oklahoma's 28.
Yeah, Oklahoma State coming into Sooner Stadium. A lot of these guys on the Oklahoma State team grew up dreaming of playing at Oklahoma. Didn't get the opportunity just because they big school in the state. They only get the best of the offers. So I think these guys come in with a chip on their shoulder. They play tough. They just had a great win at Texas against Texas the other week. So I think they come in and win a 42-35 shootout, of course, in the Big 12.
Of course, no defense. So then my X factor there, I see you guys with the Oklahoma State, is a guy by the name of Marquise Hollywood Brown. The guy's electrifying. I mean, you got Kyler Murray tossing it to him. This guy's going to be A1 down the field. A lot of go routes against that weak Oklahoma State defense. Picked a lot of touchdowns from those 2 days. It's going to be a great game no matter what. We're in for a barn burner, high scoring game. After that, we go on to the SEC dominant conference. We have Auburn at Georgia. Auburn slipped in the top 24, and Georgia's at 5, which let's get in. So what do you guys have this week there?
I know Auburn hasn't really had the season they expected to have, and I know Georgia's very dominant, so I have Georgia 31 to Auburn's 24.
Yeah, Georgia playing great. Jake Fromm, great quarterback, probably the best in the college football, you can argue. Auburn having a down year. I don't believe they get things turned around in this game. Georgia pulls ahead early and keeps this game with Adder.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I got Auburn going 27-14. I just think Georgia's running back. They got Swift at running back. They got Fromm at quarterback. They have a lot of weapons. That defense is good too. And Auburn this year, 27-14, just a pretty easy win this week for Georgia. Yeah.
Another interconference battle here. You got Clemson versus Boston College. ACC matchup. Clemson coming in at number 2 this week. I believe I got them staying at number 2, winning out. This is an easy game against Boston College. I think they win by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
I actually have Boston College in this one. I think it's at Boston College, and then Clemson has previously lost to decently good teams in the past. Pitt, Syracuse being a few to name off. I just feel like Boston College has always been a solid team. This year they're ranked, and I think they're going to be playing with that chip on their shoulder, trying to prove themselves in this game.
Actually, as we speak about upsets, we're going to go on to that. This is my upset game of the week. I am not a big Clemson guy. The ACC, hate to say it, they're weak. And the ACC is weak this year. We can all agree on that.
Sure.
They're going into Boston College, a team that has not been, very dominant in the past. We've seen Clemson the past 2 or 3 years always have that dumb loss. Similar to Ohio State. Clemson's got, 2 years ago they lost at Pitt. Last year they lost at Syracuse. I think this year it's going to be at Boston College. I have Boston College 31-21 in this game. The guy by the name of A.J. Dillon, not a household name, but the dude's an animal. He's just a stud at the running back position. Missed 2 games, still has about 1,200 rushing yards this year. And their quarterback, I mean, he holds on to the ball. 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And that Clemson defense is good, I'll give it to them, but they're a little banged up on that side. So I just look for Boston College to come out in about a 10-0 lead early and just never look back. It'll be a close one, but I do think Boston College ends up winning 31-21 in this game for my upset this week.
With Clemson's electrifying offense, I mean, in the last 2 weeks they put up 77 and 59, 41 against 16th ranked NC State, 63 against Wake Forest, who just upset NC State last night. So I mean, that offense just is too tough for Boston.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it that way, but I just think the college game, that game of the week, everyone's hyped up over it. Boston College doesn't get that opportunity very often. When have you seen Boston College be good in the last few years? You haven't seen it. So I just think, they come in with that attitude that they want to just kick Clemson in the mouth. Clemson's dominated the ACC in the past 5-6 years since Dad was been a big part. So I just think they just pull it out. It's just a big upset in my opinion, but I think it's going to happen.
I think they're trying to prove themselves as a powerful football program. I
in the
think this
future,
is the
of course.
perfect game to try to showcase what talents they have and what strengths they have.
Of course, you got to agree with that one.
Another team down this year, like Auburn is, but I got Florida State. They're at Notre Dame this week, coming into South Bend. Ian Book's out with a rib injury.
Over 800 rushing yards, 5.7 to carry, 14 touchdowns. I just feel like the run game will open up and be dominant for them. You know, open up play action later in the game.
Yeah, Dexter Williams heavily. He's able to get going in this one. Florida State's top 20 run defense, giving up only 2.8 yards a carry. I think Wimbush makes a few costly mistakes. Florida State's sticking around in this one. Francois coming back from injury. I just love Florida State in this one. It's going to be a close game, and I think Florida State comes out on top.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like you said before, I mean, Wimbush throwing 3 picks against a MAC school. I mean, with no touchdowns, you can't expect a guy to go into a spotlight like this, you know, with the season on the line, technically, because they don't have a conference championship.
Yeah, I
You
believe
gotta
this.
win out.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't
loss.
think he can handle it. I just really don't.
Speaking of dominant run games, my upset alert is Wisconsin over number 20 Penn State. I just think Jonathan Taylor, the nation's leading rusher, will get it done. Over 1,300 yards this season, 6.6 a carry. I know massive offensive line. You guys know I love my offensive line. Nickel baby. Brook, with experience and efficiency, will lead them to victory, in my opinion. He's thrown for over 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns. And then the defense, I just think they'll have great pressure off the edge. They're a 30th ranked passing defense, but I think Trace McSawyer will struggle. I think Penn State has had trouble starting the run without filling the shoes. I just think that it's going to be a tough game for them.
I definitely agree. I mean, Penn State, you know, they started out pretty promising. You know, Trace McSorley's a stud. Everyone's got to agree with that one. But they just have not had the year they expected. They're pretty much out of it. Teams like this, they tend to give up. You know, they got James Franklin, great coach. He's going to motivate them. But these guys, they just don't have anything to play for right now.
Especially after that tough loss Michigan last week.
Michigan just
They absolutely dismantled them. I think that kills their season. I mean, they're at 6-3 right now. No chance of the playoff. They're out of the Big Ten championship.
They're not even getting near 6. No near 6.
I mean, they'll get a bowl game, obviously, because they're a great program. Great record. Shows it. But
just not
I get 200, yeah.
So, you know, as we're talking about college and all the NFL, right?
of course.
So we're
Touchdowns. The Seahawks, historically great defense, is not so great this year.
My James White this week, actually. New England Patriots running back has had 25 or more points in 4 of the last 5 games. And, you know, you can see that Tennessee's going to get a rush. This guy is dominant on the passing game, too. I see him just going off again this week. He's gonna put it up. Actually, able to sleep with it. My sleep is pretty bad defensive team like Oakland. So I
Will generate more points down the run.
Yeah, my Super of the Week yard game last week. He's
Dante Fowler, Michael.
shadow coverage.
Yep.
Trubisky will be smart. And not be looking at Robinson